Have y'all seen this exchange between Senator Josh Hawley asking Dr. Nisha Verma, who is a board certified licensed doctor, who can't seem to answer just the most basic of questions? But don't believe me, just watch. Press play.
Do you think that men can get pregnant?
I hesitated there because I wasn't sure where the conversation was going or what the goal was. I mean, I do take care of patients with different identities. I take care of many women. I take care of people with different identities. And so that's where I paused. I think, yeah, I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
Well, the goal is just the truth. So can men get pregnant?
Again, the reason I paused there is I'm not really sure what the goal of the question.
The goal is just to establish a biological reality. You just said a moment ago that science and evidence should control, not politics. So let's just test that proposition. Can men get pregnant?
I take care of people with many identities, but
can men get pregnant?
I take care of many women that can get pregnant. I do take care of people that don't identify as women. That
can men get pregnant?
Again, as I'm saying,
let me just remind you. You testified to a moment ago. Science and evidence should control, not politics. So can men get pregnant? You're a doctor,
agree.
I think.
Science and evidence should guide medicine.
Do science and evidence tell us that men can get pregnant? Biological men, can they get pregnant?
I also think yes/no questions like this are a political tool. And
no, yes/no questions are about the truth, doctor. Let's not make a mockery of this proceeding. This is about science and evidence, and I'm asking you. You know, the United States Supreme Court just heard arguments yesterday at great length on this question. This is not a hypothetical question. This is not theoretical. It affects real people in their real lives. And you're here as an expert, called by the other side as an expert. And you've been telling us that you follow, right, you're a doctor, and you follow the science and the evidence. So I just want to know, based on the science, can men get pregnant? That's a yes or no question. It really is, I think.
I think you're trying to reduce the complexity of a lot.
I'm not. I'm trying to get, it's not complex. I'm trying to get to an answer, and I'm trying to test, frankly, your veracity as a medical professional and as a scientist. Can men get pregnant?
I think you're also conflating
this is extraordinary.
With
no, I'm not conflating male and female. They're two different things. There's biological men and there's biological women. And I want to know, can men get pregnant?
What you were talking about is biological.
You're not going to answer my question.
Biological males.
This isn't hard, doctor. Can men get pregnant? Yes or no?
I would be more than happy to have a conversation with you that is not coming from a place of trying to be polarized and push.
I'm not trying to be polarizing. I'm trying to ask. I think it is extraordinary that we are here in a hearing about science and about women. And for the record, it's women who get pregnant, not men. We are here about the safety of women and science that shows that this abortion drug causes adverse health events in 11% of cases. That's 22 times greater than the FDA label, another fact you haven't acknowledged. And yet you won't even acknowledge the basic reality that biological men don't get pregnant. There's a difference between biological men and biological women. I don't know how we can take you seriously and your claims to be a person of science if you won't level with this on this basic issue. I thought we were past all of this, frankly. I can't believe we're still here talking about this.
I am a person of science, and I'm also someone here who's here to represent the complex experiences of my patients, and I don't think polarized language or questions serve that goal. I don't think they serve the American people.
It is not polarizing to say that there is a scientific difference between men and women, and I want this to be clear and for the record. It is not polarizing to say that women are a biological reality and should be treated and protected as such. That is not polarizing. That is truth. It is also, by the way, the United States Constitution, which offers unique protections to women in a variety of circumstances as women. And your refusal to recognize women as women and men as men is deeply corrosive to science, to public trust, and yes, to constitutional protections for women as women. And I think it's extraordinary that you would sit here and advance a political agenda that has been thoroughly discredited and rejected by the American people in this forum. And I'm glad we had this exchange because it is exceptionally clarifying. It is also in many ways quite depressing.
This is insane to me. This is insane to me. It's silly season. We talking about a board-certified licensed doctor who can't seem to answer the most average basic question. Kids in kindergarten can answer this question. Mind you, she was called by the Democrats to testify as an expert witness on women's rights and health care. And she can't even tell you that men can't get pregnant. I mean, I ain't seen this much tap dancing since Sammy Davis Jr. God rest his soul. I mean, what alternate universe are we living in? How out of touch can one be? This is craziness. That's literally like having a conversation with somebody and you ask them, you know what, do cars have accidents? Well, I've driven many cars in my life. Yeah, that's good, but do cars have accidents? Well, I prefer to drive a black, silver, or white car, or even a gray one. Yeah, that's fine, but do cars have accidents? Well, you know what? I really like to drive cars, especially on the interstate. I know, but do cars have accidents? You know what? I'm thinking about going to the car lot to get a brand new car. Do you care to tag along? That's how she sounded. Craziness. And what party is pushing this nonsense? The same party that is at the Supreme Court of the United States advocating for men to play in women's sports. And for men to have a constitutional right to participate in women's sports. Make that make sense. Y'all, the truth is the truth. What's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. This is crazy to me. This isn't normal. But when you're a Christian, man, you know the truth. I mean, this one ain't that hard, right? But people are being deceived into thinking that this stuff is normal. Basically telling people, you know what? We're going to tell them whatever they want to hear. As long as I keep my clients. As long as I keep my clientele. As long as I'm getting that money, I don't even care. And she'll be at home with her couch, and you ask her the same question, she'll tell her husband, no, a man can't get pregnant. But you put her on Capitol Hill, she got to play her part. And the Bible tells us the differences between a man and a woman. But society, it wants to change all of that. Josh was literally throwing you a lifeline. After lifeline, after lifeline. But you push them away. Because in your mind, you rather drown in your foolishness instead of telling the truth. This doctor, she was all in her feelings and emotions. All her feelings and emotions was guiding her answers. You can respect human dignity and still provide scientific truth. It's called reality. What happened to follow the science? Or is it just when it's convenient for you? Yeah. I think that's what it is. Men cannot get pregnant. Pregnancy requires a uterus and ovaries, which biological males do not have. Apparently, you can't use reason and logic with some people, especially when they can't seem to know the difference between a boy and a girl. I don't get it. I truly don't get it. The lights are on. Too bad, ain't nobody home. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. Let's talk about it. Carry on.